In the outskirts of a village stood an ancient temple. A scholar, pundit, lived in a small room inside this temple. His daily routine was to travel to surrounding villages and conduct prayers and rituals. Finishing religious ceremonies at devotees' homes throughout the day, the scholar would return to the temple by evening and cook a simple meal for himself. After finishing his dinner, to keep the leftover food safe from spoiling, he would place it in a small earthen pot and hang it from the ceiling rafter of the temple using a rope. However, in a dark corner of that same temple lived a strange and unusual mouse. It was not like ordinary mice. By eating continuously, it had grown as fat as a ball of butter. Its physique was so sturdy that even the cats roaming in the temple courtyard were terrified of this fat mouse and never dared to touch it. Every night, after the entire temple fell silent, this fat mouse would slowly emerge from its burrow. With its eyes glowing like embers in the dark, it would go straight to the hanging rope, use the wall for support, and with a single mighty leap, land right on top of the pot. It would deliciously eat all the tasty food inside and burp with satisfaction. The next morning, when the scholar woke up at sunrise, a huge shock awaited him. Finding the pot he had hung completely empty would fill him with both surprise and sorrow. When even the cats are afraid of this mouse, how can I, a mere mortal, stop it? How do I drive this fat mouse out of here? The scholar would wonder, holding his head in his hands. This became a daily routine. Day by day, the scholar's sleep was ruined due to the mouse's menace. Meanwhile, one day, a wise sage arrived at the same temple as a guest, having traveled from a distant town. The guest was none other than a spiritually mature ascetic with deep worldly experience. When the guest arrived, the scholar did not have a single grain of food left to serve him for dinner. Remembering how the pot was always plundered by the mouse, tears welled up in the scholar's eyes. Hesitantly approaching the sage, he poured his heart out and narrated the entire situation in detail. Listening to everything calmly, the sage smiled gently. This mouse, strong like a wrestler, is able to fly this high and grow fatter day by day not just because of the temple's daily offerings. There is a secret behind it. First, we must find where this mouse lives, locate its burrow, and destroy it. That mouse must have hoarded plenty of food inside its burrow, and it is by inhaling the fragrance of that stored food that this mouse gets the energy to leap high and reach the hanging pot, assured the sage. The very next morning, both the scholar and the sage searched every nook and cranny of the temple together. Finally, they discovered the large burrow of the mouse hidden deep inside a crack in the temple wall. Inside that burrow, a massive pile of the finest grains, seeds, and food items that the mouse had stealthily collected came into view. Following the sage's guidance, the scholar dug up the entire burrow and completely removed and destroyed the entire stockpile of food stored there. Seeing all the precious food grains in its burrow destroyed, the fat mouse felt utterly heartbroken. Day after day, sitting inside its burrow and breathing in the fragrant aroma of that food to boost its strength, the mouse today found neither that fragrance nor any food to eat. Without food, its bodily strength faded day by day. The fat mouse, which used to terrify cats in the past, now became weak, lifeless, and skinny. Unable to bear the hunger and lacking the strength even to stand up, it was finally forced to leave the temple. Setting out and dragging itself somehow in search of food, it wandered outside. At that very same time, a large wild cat, lying in wait for mice, was prowling around. Seeing the weak mouse crawling by, the cat leaped upon it in the blink of an eye, caught it with its sharp claws, and devoured it completely. Thus, the mouse that used to steal food out of greed met its end due to its own arrogance and vicious hoarding habits. The scholar's misery also came to an end, and peace was restored in the temple.